Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our Unforsaken Sisters Podcast. My name is Xochil Elmore, and I am your host, and it's on this podcast that we encourage one another in the Lord. Each month, we feature a fellow sister in Christ and get to know them, and I promise you this will be something that's uplifted and inspired. I'm so excited today that we have one special young lady with us. Many of you know her, and it is my privilege to interview Miss Sara Holder. Thank you for joining us, Sara.
I'm excited.
So I'm so excited that you're on this edition of the Unforsaken Sisters Podcast. And it was funny because I'm so used to saying Sarah Midlow, Sarah Midlow, Sarah Midlow. And I had you in my phone as Sarah Midlow. And my daughter grabbed my phone one day and she's like, she's a Holder. She's not a Midlow.
Shout out to her.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yes, I know. That's points for Carlin, right?
Yes. I was excited to get rid of Midlow. I'm going to be honest.
Really?
Just because people always butchered it and they always said it wrong. So it was like Midlow, or, Holder. I was like, easy. That's easy. Good.
Oh my good. Well, one of the things that I love that when you are such a Midlow, but you're such a Holder too. Like you are definitely.
You gotta leave and cleave.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I was called Midlow in high school, so like I still answer to it, and I even forget that my name's Holder. But
yeah, that's funny. So I want to give you a chance to just tell us about yourself. I know people say, "Oh, Midlow or Sara," and they think they know you, but it's on this podcast that we're going to go a little deeper into who Sara. I was going to say Midlow Holder is.
I love it.
So tell us about your family, where you're from, your job, and a little bit extra.
Of course. Yeah. So I am married to Carlin Holder. Mm-hmm. I am his wife, and he is a campus pastor for the Lakeside Church.
Okay.
And then recently I became a mom to Maverick Holder. Shout out to my baby boy.
Yes.
And I am also the operations director for Unforsaken. So I do a lot of the behind the scenes, the finance, the benevolence, where we get to help these single moms with rental assistance and bills and things like that, as well as our events. So our monthly events, our big events,
so cool.
Outreaches, stuff like that.
Right.
So I absolutely love it.
Right.
As you know, I grew up in ministry.
Right.
I've been in ministry since I can remember. Yeah. They put me on the PowerPoint way too soon. I was probably like 6 years old, like doing the PowerPoint.
Hilarious.
But Unforsaken started more than 10 years ago. So I was like 10 years old when Unforsaken started.
Okay.
In this little tiny room, and getting to see it flourish now, and we're sitting
awesome.
at a podcast right now.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff is just amazing. How much it's just flourished.
Yeah.
And how many more women we're able to help, and children all over the world and stuff. So it's just amazing. I knew I wanted to always be in ministry.
Right.
Sometimes you see the good and the bad in ministry, and I've seen it both.
Right.
I've seen people hurt my parents. I've seen people hurt each other, because we're all people.
Right.
It's not a specific church. It's not that kind of stuff. It's just people are people.
Yeah.
And
that's good, Sara.
but I use it as a motivation. I'm like, I'm going to be in ministry. It's just the way it is. I married a pastor. So I knew I was going to be in it, and I absolutely love it.
That's so cool.
But yeah, it's kind of a little bit of where I'm at and that kind of stuff. But now I'm stepping into motherhood.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing.
That's another season. So did you grow up here?
Yes. So I was born in upstate New York, but my mom moved me down at like a month old. So I consider myself a Floridian.
Right.
She told my dad, she was like, once she comes, I'm moving to Florida. I don't care what it takes.
With or without you, right?
Yeah, with or without you. So thankfully, he came with her.
Yeah.
And I consider myself Floridian. Yeah. I've been here since I was a month old.
So did you always go to the public school system?
Yes. I'm a huge advocate for that because I got to be a light in the dark.
Yeah.
And I got to do the prayer at our graduation. So some people don't even know public schools do prayers if you ask them to.
Yeah.
Wow. And so I always
Sara.
am telling the kids at youth group and things like, no, you're allowed to pray before team sports and stuff like that, and at your graduation, and ask your teacher questions, because she's allowed to answer once you ask questions. So, I'm an advocate for that, and whatever you decide to do is fine. But
that's good.
I enjoyed public school.
So when you think about Unforsaken, like you were saying, how it's come so far, and you've been here since the beginning.
Yeah.
Where did it first start? Like what facility? I remember it being at the Mary Kay Center.
Yes.
Is that where it first started?
Yeah, I think that was the very first one in Oakland.
Right, yeah, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Off Tubb Street. That's what it was.
Yes. So you started there at like probably around 10 years old, and then you've seen it 10 plus years later, to where it is. And I'm so thankful that your mom didn't ever get discouraged and say, nope, this is not for me, I'm quitting this.
And there were times.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure there were times.
There was definitely times where it's like one thing after the next, or, there's times where you don't really make the money that you need.
Right.
They put a lot of money into it, or things like that.
Exactly.
But God's just totally been like, just be faithful, just be faithful, and I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
And I remember watching like kids' babies in like the back room at Tubb Street. Like I don't know why they trusted a 10-year-old with like babies, but my dad would like take the baby out.
Right. Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
But he trusted me with it. So
it's funny because now my little girl, she helps at the store whenever.
I love her.
And your mom always says that is how Sarah was in the same store.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, she was back there watching babies, and I'm like thinking, can Evelyn do that? I guess she can, that young. But before you are the outreach director, what did you do with Unforsaken before that?
So I was a store manager. Yeah. And I absolutely love that as well.
Yeah.
Overseeing the volunteers, and you get to do that now. And it really is a blessing.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Just the people that come into the store and, for the food pantry, we can always put a jacket on somebody. But the money as well that we have been able to make at that store and have staff members and pay volunteers and sometimes and things like that. Like, in triple our benevolence fund. We're helping so many moms each month.
So good.
So that kind of stuff is just a blessing.
Right.
Us being on 27 and people just walking in and what's this place?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're actually a ministry and we help single moms. And I loved the store as well because I love organizing.
Yeah.
So I got my degree in organizational management. So I'm like,
nice.
I am totally redoing this area today.
Right. Yeah. It's just fun.
It is.
And I think like what you were saying, how people just stop by, they didn't even know we existed. And they find out it's a ministry, and then they'll be like, we don't really want to buy anything. We just want to donate. And then they'll just donate $20, $30, $40 just because they hear about the ministry from our great volunteers.
Yeah.
And I think that was a great way that you were able to get right into the ministry. So you started working at Unforsaken Treasures when you were still in college?
Yes,
okay.
I was in college. So I technically worked as like a medical receptionist for a little bit. So I did the secular thing and I enjoyed it. Yeah. I did. I'm not like a sit at a desk person. Yes. I had to get out. I had to be talking to people. They're like, you talk to a lot of people. You're really bubbly. I'm like, I know, I don't want to be here. I just want to sit and that kind of stuff. And so that gave me the opportunity with ministry. Right. Ministry is 24/7 though.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
So you're always on the clock.
Yeah.
And I guess my personality likes that.
Right. Yes. And there's nobody better that could have just filled that hole than Mo's daughter. Because you know her heart. And you know exactly, like, you don't have to call your mom for every decision because you know what decision she would make. And she trusts you. That's just reminds me.
We are very similar.
Right. Yes.
We're a little different in some ways because I push her in certain ways and she brings me back certain ways. But,
yes.
But
yeah, she's a leader. She leads me too. But I just love how, you started there and then you're now you get this opportunity to work from home. But, to be, because that's what your mom wants for you is to be able to raise your son, but also to work, she doesn't want to lose you either, but you're able to do that from home and you do such a great job.
Thank you. I'm sorry I send emails at 3 a.m.
Oh no, it's okay. I don't see
I'm
them
nursing, but I'm just like, hey,
that's when you're waiting.
Time.
Yeah, exactly. So you told us about Carlin. How'd you meet Carlin?
So thanks to our church, we went to rival high schools, but we met at youth group.
Okay.
So I always tell people if you're trying to find a good spouse, find him at church.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So we were young. We were 16 and 17, which is crazy to think about. Yes. Thinking about my son like meeting his spouse at 16, I'm like, no, that's not allowed. But I did it. So we met and We were really best friends at first. He wanted more, and I just wanted to be friends at first.
Yeah.
But it was so important for me because I never dated. I never had a boyfriend. He was my first kiss. So I was very much new to the game.
Right.
And we were 16, 17, about a year, just I kept friend zoning him.
Yeah.
And then he would take me on these extravagant dates, like, can we be boyfriend and girlfriend? And I'm like, I'm just not ready yet. And I finally was like, okay, I really like you. Like, what am I doing? My mom was like, he's your husband.
Yes.
Like, he's your husband,
so she
Sarah.
knew.
Like, she didn't tell me that till a little bit after because it would have scared me at the time. But obviously
great.
he was.
Right.
And that was just a blessing. And now we've been married for 3 years now.
Nice.
We had a quick engagement.
Yeah.
That was a 3-month engagement.
Wow.
But when he came home from school, because we did a little long distance, it was only a year. When he came home from school and wanted to pursue ministry full time, I was like, yes, I'm so getting married. Like, I knew it because I was like, that means that he's going to be stable and at home and that kind of stuff. So we got married and they offered him a full-time job. It was like God totally aligned that.
Yeah.
Because we did not have the finances to get married.
Right. Yes.
We were like, so I'm going to get this job. You're going to get this job, do whatever we can. And so we did that. And then throughout the dating process, we did pursue purity.
Yeah.
And that was something that we both committed to.
Right.
We had to commit to it. We even signed a little contract and had his mom sign it. Oh my gosh, she was bawling. She was like, she's like, of course I'll sign that. Like that's huge, especially for a boy mom.
Right.
To see your son pursue purity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So when you think about that, did you, as you were growing up, did you always feel the call to ministry? Like, did you when I grow up, I just know I'm going to work in ministry?
I feel like no and yes, because like I said, I saw the bad, and I'm like, maybe I don't want that.
Right, yes.
But then the Lord's tug on my heart, I was like, I have to do this. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I love working for Jesus and him being my boss and things like that.
Right.
I love it. And I just love people.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part of ministry is loving people because you have to be Jesus for them.
Absolutely. Yep. That's his character is love.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're good at that, then
that's so good.
That's what it is.
I knew when I was young that I wanted to go to a Christian college. I knew that. And I knew that I wanted to be in ministry, but I didn't know where, and God throughout my life, he put me in different situations. And I just know that every step of the way he was preparing me for now where I'm sitting. But I can even see that God has just prepared you every step of the way with different leadership. So what really attracted you to Carlin? That's a question that, I wanted to ask you because he was your best friend, but what made him like a best friend, to you?
I would say it was his heart for Jesus. We were serving in kids together. I would see how he was with kids and teaching them the word and things like that. And
that was attractive.
Oh yeah. You get 10 times hotter if you love Jesus, right? So
amen. Yes, that's true.
And he wasn't a pastor at the time or anything in that leadership role, but I knew I wanted somebody like that.
Right.
And he wanted to pursue purity. That was something that I was very, very much about.
Right.
And when he said he wanted that, I knew that I needed someone that was going to respect me in that area and wait with me.
Wow.
So we had our boundaries because it's not easy.
Right. You're very attracted to each other. Yeah.
He's obviously handsome too. So
you don't want to not say that.
Exactly. But we had boundaries such as not being in a room alone with each other. We always say we try to stay vertical as much as possible. Right. Horizontal is dangerous.
Right,
vertical is good. So doors open, never home alone, things like that. And we would go on dates. We wouldn't have chaperones and stuff.
Right.
So I always say there were opportunities for us to fall into sin, but we had to be grounded.
Right.
We had that contract that we stuck to, and again, we didn't date for 10 years.
Right.
Because that's literally impossible.
Right.
to not fall into that.
Absolutely.
And be together that long.
Yes.
So, that was beautiful. And we had a 3-month engagement, had a huge wedding.
Wow.
But I was like, nope, we want this quick. We want this you know what the Bible says. Paul's like, if you're on fire,
exactly.
like, get married.
Yes, yeah. So that's what you guys did.
Yeah,
so
and we knew we loved each other.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not encouraging anyone rush into something because you want to have sex.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
I'm saying, if you know you love each other, you know this is God's person for you, you pray about it, things like that, then it is. So.
And your parents were pretty much in agreement with it. They weren't like, just wait. They knew you. I mean, the maturity for both of you guys.
When Carlin asked my dad, it was hilarious. Funny story. He walks in and he shuts the door. My dad's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, I got to talk to you about like, the relationship with your daughter. I want to marry her. He's like, oh my gosh, I got to sit down. And then he may or may not have started to like cuss a little bit. He was still freaking out. He's so my mom rushes in because she's like, why are the guys in the room by themselves? She rushes in. She's like, if you're asking what I think, yes. My dad was like, this is my job. But
don't take that away from me.
She was like, no, yes. So.
Oh my gosh. So they loved him.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Sometimes I think they love him more than me. And that's fine.
Right. As long, that's good. That's the alternative, you know?
Exactly.
As we see marriage and then the baby, this season of your life right now as a new mommy, can you share a little bit about the journey becoming a mom?
Of course. So we were married about 2 years, and we felt like God was pulling on our heart to have a kid. We were praying about it. We're like, okay, this is our timing. We got to be husband and wife, which I think is important.
Right.
So you know, little quirks and stuff. You're figuring it out. And we didn't have to be straight into mom and dad. So that was a blessing. But we wanted to get pregnant. And, you think it's going to take a few months.
Right.
And it took longer. It took over a year. And when it hit a year mark, we both were discouraged, obviously.
Absolutely.
And I was just kind of like feeling a little bit of a weight. As a wife, you want to give them a child.
Absolutely.
That's just something, as a woman,
right.
period. You want to have children. So,
but you could pretty much relate to the Bible times when the women really, that was like their goal to be a mom.
To just, the inheritance and things like that. So, I remember we were kind of suffering in silence with each other. And it was like a year, and me and him finally talked about it.
Right.
So we were, like we said, we were suffering in silence because nobody else knew we were struggling.
Right.
And I felt like it was partly because of our ministry role. I felt like I had to have it all together.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, like I can't tell anybody that I'm struggling.
Absolutely.
And that was pride.
Yeah.
That was some serious pride looking back on it now that I had.
So good.
And I had to and Carlin realized it because he was like, Sarah, we need to talk to someone about this. We encourage people every Sunday to join groups, to talk to people, to share your burdens with each other, and you're not doing it.
Right.
And you're like, but like I was like, okay, I think I could do this. I got to just tell a few people. We don't have to tell the world because I am one of those people. You don't have to post everything on Facebook when you're dealing with issues.
That's so good.
You just get a few people that are going to war with you and pray with you and things like that. So we did. I told some of our people in our life group. Yeah. And we told our pastors. And it was during our 21 days of prayer that we just continued. 21 days of prayer and fasting. We both were fasting and praying for this. And that's when I conceived.
Wow.
So it was like a God sent. It was just amazing. And it was after I opened up. I really believed the Lord wanted me to do that. He's like, Sarah, because I kept saying, I'm praying, Carlin. I'm praying. I'm praying every morning. I'm doing my scriptures. I'm doing, and he's like, but you need to kind of not act like everything's okay.
Absolutely.
And I struggled with people have waited longer.
Right.
I know people that have waited 3-4 years. Carlin's like, but you have a desire right now, and you could pray for that. So
good.
I encourage you today, whoever's listening, if you're dealing with something, open up to somebody.
Right.
Get community.
That's so good.
Find somebody that is in their word.
Right.
And is gonna have good discernment and things like that. And is gonna pray for you.
Yeah.
And
I love
it was a beautiful thing for me because I'm like, I'm able to help women now that maybe have struggled with infertility or things like that. And the whole process was hard at first. Yeah. But coming out of it now, just looking back, it was all God. Right. It wasn't me. Yeah. And that's what God wanted. It wasn't me who had to have it all together. Right. My Enneagram, if anyone knows the Enneagram, is a 3. Yeah. So I'm an achiever. I hate to lose. Right. I'm the most competitive number. So the 3s just love winning and hate failing. Right. So that was me. I felt like I was failing as a wife and failing as a woman. And God was like, no, that. Right. And Carlin is the one who told me this. He's like, your purpose is more important than your personality,
Right,
Sarah.
right.
So the purpose
Wow.
of this is more important. So I had to submit my personality,
Right, yes.
and so
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge. As you were talking, I was just thinking about how God calls people to different ministries, right? And God has definitely called Carlin to be a pastor, right? But He doesn't only call him to be a pastor; He calls you to be His wife and a pastor's wife. And so God was very deliberate and very intentional when He created you, because He created you for Carlin and for you to minister to so many men and women, not just women, because it's not that message that you just said. It's not just about the fertility. It's so much more. It's about saying, I can't do this. God, I got to go to my community. And I think it's so important that we say too, that not everything has to be on Facebook, right? You don't have to say that you're struggling, and you say it to people that you trust, that you know are going to pray for you and not about
praying
you.
hands.
Right.
The praying hands emojis,
Right,
on Facebook. You're like, are they really praying for me?
Yeah,
that's
so good.
So, and I would have people, these girls who, it was a few months after, but that would pray. They would send me a prayer request right when I got my period. I know this is like TMI,
right.
But when you're a woman and you're trying to have a kid and you get your period,
you're like, man,
it's like,
yes.
It's another month they have to wait to have a kid.
Right.
And I'd be like, how do they know?
Yeah.
It's the Lord that told them
Holy
that
Spirit.
they were praying for me.
Yes.
So, and that's what I needed at that time.
Yeah.
And if I was doing it by myself, how are they going to know?
Exactly. You were struggling in silence.
Exactly.
That's so powerful. So how was your pregnancy once you did, become pregnant? How was that? Was that an easy journey? Or?
So the beginning was the morning sickness very badly.
Yeah.
I lost weight and everything.
Yeah.
But it was so perspective. The Lord, every time I threw up, in the barf bag in the car or in the I would be like, I prayed for this.
Yes.
I prayed for this. I prayed for this.
Yes.
And kind of helped me get through it.
Right.
Of course, support system.
Yeah.
My mom would come during those 10 weeks of sickness.
Yes.
She would come. She would clean my house.
Oh my gosh.
My
What a
mother-in-law.
gift.
I just was blessed. Friends would just come bring me all their little remedies and their oils that they would put on me and stuff. So that was huge.
Right.
Support system is a blessing. And I have some friends that they've moved here and they don't have family.
Right.
I want to be that for them.
Yeah.
And I've committed that to Carlin. I'm like, Carlin, we need to be that for people.
Wow.
Because sometimes all you have to do is vacuum their house or go do a load of laundry for them, and it's weight off their shoulders.
It means the world. Yeah. You'll have a friend for life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Serve others.
Yes.
And sometimes it's that way. Sometimes it's just sitting on the couch with them and being like, you want to just watch Netflix?
Right.
And it'll help you.
Yeah. Time is so precious to people. So you worked up until, you delivered practically. Because I kept on saying, like, are you taking off? Because your due date's coming. You're like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So how was that experience?
It helped me because I was like, everyone kept saying, well, any day now, you get like 37 weeks.
Yeah,
it's safe to have a baby. Any day now. I was like, no, I'm going to my due date. I'm going to my due date because I didn't want to be upset.
Yes. And did you go all the way to your due date?
It was a few days before.
Okay.
So I was happy. I came a little early, but.
So during labor and delivery, I think not things changed, but your love for Carlin grew.
Oh,
right?
100%.
Like just from, and I think this is good that you did share this on Facebook because people do need, there's so many posts about guy bashing, right?
Yes.
And there's not enough of us, because I sing Stephen's praises all the time. He's the greatest.
Well, you're an encourager. So
But I think that we need to do that, right? And it was just like your love for him grew. Tell me about that, like that labor and delivery.
When you see a woman give birth,
right?
The husband, they just light up, you know?
Yes.
But for me, it was both. So I saw him. I had horrible back pressure, so he was the wrong direction.
Right.
So Carlin had his hands. Women, if you had kids, back pressure is a heaven sent because he's just pushing as hard as he can on my back.
Wow.
And he did that for 24 hours straight. At one point, I could lay down and he was pushing all night long.
My
mom took a little nap. He was pushing things like that. So. And he just, anything I needed. My mom was like, I've never seen a man do that. My mom's been in a few births with people, and she said, I've never seen a man be so attentive.
Right.
And I go, maybe you'll be a good nurse. And he goes, Sarah, I'd only do it for you. And, he's like, just letting you know, I wouldn't do that for anybody.
Right.
So, I just grew so much bigger of a love.
Yes.
And the Lord does that.
Yeah, yes, he does.
When you have kids, it's like, that's a whole thing.
Absolutely.
With motherhood and parenthood, I'm like, wow, I love my spouse so much more.
Yes. You appreciate, just what he did. I think your mom even said that he didn't eat until you ate.
Oh, no.
Right? Like, he's just
he was feeding me and things like that. And I swear he felt the pain.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
Where the guys are like, ooh, that looks painful. I would never want to. He felt it. Like, he was like,
it's like, I know Stephen has said he just felt like he felt so helpless. Like he wanted to, but he could just see it in my face and, so being a new mommy, tell us about how your experience is so far with being a new mom to Mav.
Exactly. So honestly, I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't believe in magic, but when I first held him in my arms, it was magical.
Yeah.
That's what's like,
it's just something that you thought.
It's just like, that's something you've never experienced before. It's different than your love for your spouse, though.
It is. Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, Mom, I don't know, like, I would do anything for this kid. I will hurt someone if they hurt him. That kind of thing. And it's just so amazing. And the three things that I got so far out of motherhood, one, I love my parents more. Because I don't understand how much my parents love me until I had a kid.
Right.
Because you're just like, whoa, no wonder you love me this much. Just all that they would do for me and things like that. Two, I love Jesus so much more. And I can get choked up because I'm thinking, he gave up his son.
That's good.
And I could not give up Mav right now.
Absolutely.
For anything.
And he's just a baby.
Yes.
Not 30 years. Yeah.
And the Lord knew it when he gave us his son that he's going to have to do it.
Yeah.
So my appreciation for Jesus is just so much greater. And again, I said the spouse as well. Just the 50% you, 50% them, and just getting to see him flourish and look like us and act like us. And my mom's like, he's just like you, and he's only 3 months old. I was like, how do you know that?
Oh, that's so cool. So what's some advice for those expectant mommies that are like, can't wait for this baby? What's some things that you can offer since it's so fresh?
I would say, this sounds really weird, but don't listen to people sometimes because people, Christians, things like that, they tell you the worst things.
Yes, right.
They're like, you're going to hate it.
Right.
And you're like, okay, you're never going to sleep again. You never have your freedom. Your body's never going to look the same. And I'm like, wow, thanks.
Thanks for that encouragement.
I don't receive that. And I feel bad. People at church would be like, I don't receive that. But literally, I was like, I don't.
Right. Nope.
They're like, oh, labor. Oh, you think you're going to have a supernatural birth? Oh, no, that's not possible. It's like, no, I'm actually reading the word and meditating on scripture. So for expecting moms and things, don't listen to what society says. Good. Don't listen to everybody.
Right.
Find those people.
Yeah.
And me and Carlin always say, if it's good, it's from God.
Right.
If it's something positive, it's good for you, it's the word, then it's from God. And receive that and take it.
Right.
But if it's not,
don't rebuke it.
Throw it out the air. Like, you know, one out the other.
Yes.
So.
How about advice for new moms that are like, that just had a baby? Just practical, like
the best advice I got was just enjoy the moment and stuff. Like that's something good that they do say it really goes fast.
It does.
I'm like, I feel like I just had birth and it's been like 90 days. It's only been 90 days. But it definitely goes by quick. So enjoy every moment.
Yeah.
I never set that kid down. Like it's like long me being away from him now. But like, he's always on my chest and just the snuggles and things like that. I would just say enjoy the moment and just treasure it.
Yes.
Because thinking about me going through that season of not having him, like, I need to be thankful every time I get to look at him, every time I wake up in the middle of the night. You know, things like that. Just have perspective. There's women that are really, really struggling to have children. So I guess that's the biggest thing I could say.
Because a lot of times the advice that you'll get is don't hold the baby because you're spoiled.
You know, you need to sleep train that baby. That baby needs to sleep through the night. And I'm like, he wakes up and nurses.
Right. And you're fine with it. You know, enjoy the moment.
And I only have one for so long.
Right,
so
right,
I'm enjoying this period when I don't have to be like, you take one, I take one.
Right, yes, yeah. So what's some of the best moments in these last 3 months that you've had with Precious Maverick?
I would probably have to say I'm a huge nursing advocate.
Right,
so
right.
nursing has been super beautiful to me.
Right.
I'm the type of person where I'm not going to judge you if you don't do it.
Yeah.
I think every woman should try.
Right.
Because
Yes.
some women can't do it.
Yeah.
But try.
Yes,
Just
right.
try because the connection there,
Yeah.
even if you do it for a month,
Right.
it's worth it. And it's not easy.
Right, right. It's not.
I
it's
tell
not.
women that I'm like, everyone's like, oh, you're so lucky you can breastfeed. I'm like, I am? I'm lucky? No, I worked hard for this.
Right.
I got mastitis. I got
Yes,
the clogged
yes,
ducts.
yes.
I got all the things that it comes with.
Right.
But that connection
Right.
and how he knows of his mom.
Right, right. Yes.
They will stop crying and things like that.
Yes.
So I don't know. I would
so
say
good.
nursing is huge, as well as me and Carlin will do when he's losing it. You know, that certain time of day, nothing works.
Yes.
Worship music. Carlin will play the guitar and he'll just stare at us, and we're just like slowly crying, just like the happiness, just like this is the best.
Right. Oh, that's awesome.
Those are probably the best moments we've had. Just swinging on the swing, being outdoors, things like that. But
and sharing him with your grandparents, which are great grand. They're loving him.
Oh my gosh! And of course, he's got cousins now and things like that
the same
he's going
age.
to grow up with.
That's so beautiful. What has been a struggle for you?
So I would say I am very detailed, organized. And when you become a mom, things change.
Yeah, they have to.
Carlin would always make fun of me. I'd have a list of things to do all day. And if it was 9 o'clock and I didn't have it done, I would go around the house. I would finish them. I just had to finish them to go to sleep and relax.
Right.
I can't do that nowadays.
Yeah.
That list changes to changing a diaper and nursing some days, and that's all I can do.
Right.
And he's living, and I'm
right, exactly, right.
I'm keeping a baby alive.
That's good.
It's okay if there's dishes in the sink.
Yes.
If there's a bunch of laundry on the bed. So I think that's been a struggle for me. Some women would be like, that's not hard.
Right, yeah.
But for me, I had to be like, my lifestyle's changed.
Yeah.
And I know some women get the blues and depression, and that's a real thing.
It is.
And you'll get thoughts, thoughts, and I just had to replace them with the word every time. And I'm not saying I haven't had them.
Right.
But thank God for Jesus.
Amen. Yes.
And thank God for his word and those irrational thoughts that something's going to happen, or what if I drop him?
Right,
you think of things like that. And
jeez.
But I just have to
real
be ready. And I know when I haven't been in my word, because those thoughts come way easier.
Right.
So
this is
be in your word.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to listen to podcasts. I don't have time to read my Bible. I have to listen to a podcast about this and get while I'm cleaning or while I'm walking him around, things like that. Listen to your word on the Bible app or whatever it is. So.
I think too, like that's been a struggle, but you also, I think you're seeing that like you said, the dishes don't have to be washed, and just having that freedom, those dishes will still be there, later on. But if it's not done at 9 o'clock, just having that freedom to say, okay, I'll be okay.
Exactly.
And a lot of us mommies think, oh my gosh, no, I have to do this to be the perfect wife, perfect mom. But you don't. That is a lie from the enemy. So you just have to have that freedom to be like, no, I got to focus on this guy right here. He's alive. He's thriving.
Exactly. And it's more important for me to have time with him and have time with my spouse than to worry about the dishes.
Absolutely.
And Carlin be like, wow, I didn't get to talk to you at all today because you had to go clean the house. And I had, so that's more, the Lord's like, no, like people are more important.
Yes.
He always tells me people over policy, Sarah, whatever it is. Like, okay, people over policy.
That's good. So as you think about your testimony, where has been a situation in your life that you have seen God move in your life?
So for me, I would say, since I'd grown up in the church, I had to come to the point where I wasn't going to church because my parents had me go to church, and it was my parents' faith. I had to step into my own faith. And when I was I think I was like 17 or something, I remember going to my mom being like, I don't really have a testimony. I didn't get in a car accident and have this miraculous thing, or I didn't, things like my mom's like, no, you have a testimony. And I remember being like, everyone has a testimony. And I'm just grateful that I had parents that raised me in the Lord.
Absolutely.
Because I had it a little bit simpler when it comes to finding Jesus. But it came to the point where
that's good.
I had to start reading the Bible for my own. I had to choose Jesus because my parents can't choose Jesus for me. So my testimony, I mean, we've had our cousin Kylie, was taken, not taken, but given to Jesus, things like that. Yeah. Definitely not taken. Right. But that was a hard season. I was still a little bit young. Yeah. But again, it's not always, I want to encourage someone, because some people get discouraged if they don't have some big thing happen in their life that is hard. Right. That they cling to Jesus.
Yeah. And that's your testimony, that you haven't given into all those sins, that you stayed pure, that you found the man of your dreams, and that you guys are doing ministry together.
And even with the purity thing, like I tell girls all the time, it's not easy in the time that you're doing it, but God will bless it. Yes. God blesses obedience.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So like, I remember like that first year of marriage, we kept being like, this is amazing. Right. Like, why do those Christians say, you're going to hate it?
Right.
Wait till that first year is the worst year. Yes. We loved it. And we felt like God was like, it's because you waited. Right. You never lived together. So when you slept in the bed together, we're like, hey, we just like pillow talk for hours. Like, it was just like, God was blessing it, and same with other things and finances and just giving jobs that we needed and stuff. So
obedience
brings blessing.
It does. It does. What is a Bible verse or Bible story that you love?
Yeah, I think it's cliche, but the woman at the well is my favorite, because we're all the woman at the well. Yep. We just got different sins. Yeah, and the Lord comes and finds us. Will go out of His way for us. Yes, whatever it is.
Amen.
So good. And then I'm the type of person where I loved how on fire she was for Jesus after. Right. And that's how we should be.
Absolutely.
She went and told so many people. She was one of Jesus's disciples pretty much afterwards. So that's just what I love about this story, is her transformation, because we're all transformed when we find Jesus. We're all redeemed.
Yes.
And that's probably my favorite story.
I love it.
I know it's like, oh, the woman at the well. We hear, but
I know, but we all have different sins.
Exactly.
And, we can.
I remember the show, the Bible, or what is it called? Chosen.
Oh yeah.
That episode when the woman at the well, tears. Like it's just very beautiful to see it.
Oh, geez, that's awesome. So you've been blessed to have a wonderful mom that teaches the word. Mm-hmm. You see her not just teach it, but live it. Yeah. What are some things that you love to do for Jesus?
I would say serving in some capacity. Yes. Carla and I have this thing where we have values for our personal families. So, and one of them is serving. Yeah. So, and then we have non-negotiables with that. So that means that we have to serve somebody in our church or out of our church once a month. Wow. So if that's helping a single mom move, if that's a sibling going over and watching their kid, whatever it is, we have to do that. Wow. And we love that. And that's separate from serving at the church. Right. Because we serve at the church and we work for ministry. That's separate. That's totally separate. We get paid for that stuff. Right. But things for that. And I encourage people, get values for your family. Yeah. And we have 4 different words that we stick to. Yeah. And every quarter we go through, did we do that though? Right. Because you'll feel like, oh wow, we didn't serve that month. Yeah. Okay, we got to do 2 this month. Right. So that's my favorite thing we do for Jesus. Is when you serve people, you show Jesus. Right. That's what He did. Yeah. He washed people's feet. Yeah. Like, are you willing to wash people's feet? Yeah. They're dirty and they're gross. Are you able to feed the homeless and go out and the dirty stuff? Right. You know how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how the story gets.
Yeah. But like I did the live teaching, and I talked about how Jesus really never said He loved people. He didn't say I love you, but He demonstrated His love. Like He touched those. Bigger. Yeah. He touched those people with leprosy. I think about COVID and how everybody had to wear masks and you this quarantine, but man, if Jesus was here, He'd be touching everybody, right? 100%. And just the example, but He demonstrates His love. So who are some mentors or people in your life that have helped you along the way?
So obviously my parents, it's a blessing for them as well. But we had an amazing youth pastor when we were in youth. Wow. And they helped us with our purity walk. They helped us pursue ministry and that kind of stuff. He would go on walks with Carlin, and I would go to her house and I would cry and be like, I really think I love him. Like, am I allowed to love him? And she's like, yeah, you are. So, and they still, they don't even go to our church anymore, but they still reach out to us. They're, and they still come over and hold the baby and pray for us every time we're with them. They're like, can we pray with you guys? Can we do this? And it's such a huge thing.
Yes.
Pastor David and Lena, I have to say their names because they're that for us.
Yes.
And they'll always be pastors to us because there are pastors.
Right,
you know?
right.
So, they're a huge, huge blessing in our life. She helped me so much through that dating period, as well as if I'm struggling with insecurities or things, just giving me scriptures.
Yes.
And I encourage everyone, you need to have a mentor. You need to be a mentor.
Absolutely. Yep.
So what younger girl am I pouring into?
Right.
Where am I getting my pouring as well?
Absolutely.
And that's big because when you're pastors, you think, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's like, no. You need overseers.
Absolutely.
You need people that are going to be pouring into you, that are going to be keeping you accountable.
Yeah. Yes.
Because us pastors, we mess up. We do things wrong.
Right. That's where I think that the big issue is when pastors don't have the accountability. You know, I always say you need a Paul in your life and you need a Timothy in your life.
100%.
You know, because we need someone being that Paul and we need to be somebody for that person.
Yeah, and I encourage you, find that today.
Yes,
find
absolutely.
That, do that today.
Yes, be intentional. And like your youth pastors, they were intentional about spending time with you both and then with you separate.
Exactly.
You know, because that's so, you can only talk about certain things by yourself.
And I didn't always want to talk to my mom about stuff.
Right. Yes.
You know, I'm like, I had to, and not like in a weird way. She was my mentor spiritually.
Right.
My mom was everything for that. But there's sometimes I'm like, I don't want to tell her that I like a boy.
Right.
You know, like that's so
absolutely.
Awkward. So you need that as well.
Absolutely.
Sometimes a separate thing.
Yeah, that's good. So as I think about some more about you, what's some favorite things that you like to do?
So I honestly love like DIY.
Yeah.
Carlin's always like, another room. You know, I loved quarantine because I decorated my house every day. Like I was like, we're going to do this thing.
Yes.
I was like, Lowe's and Home Depot are open. We're good.
Right. And the shop.
Yes, exactly. So I loved that. And I still love that. I love turning a table into a cute piece, painting it, sanding it. And that's why I'm so excited for our Restore Hope project.
Yes.
If you don't know, we're doing a project for a single mom with 5 kids.
That's so good.
So we are redoing this whole house.
Wow.
Like we are doing so much. I don't even think she knows how much we're going to do.
No.
And
it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, but we need the help.
Right.
So if you love to do any of that, we're going to paint, we're going to clean, we're going to organize, we're going to do so much stuff like that. The dates are September 30th.
Right, to October 1st.
And 2nd. Yep. So it's a whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can get the information on the website for all that. So
right.
Definitely sign up because it's going to be so fun. I remember being like 8 years old and doing what my mom did at Real Life, Real Help.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a similar thing.
Yeah.
And my mom would be like, okay, you can design a room. And I'd be like, okay. Like, she's like, I just have to oversee it, but you can design a room. And I just loved it.
That's so good.
So that
she was
so
just
fun.
Like stirring those gifts in you, like at a very early age.
And it's funny, my brothers, they kind of like don't like that kind of thing anymore. They were like, moving again, moving.
Yes.
And I'm like, I adore it. So you that's okay.
Right, yes.
Not everyone's meant for ministry. That's okay.
And I think too, like I want to just shout out for this to just say a little bit more about we need volunteers for everything. Like if you think, I can't, design a room or do construction, we have a place for you. Even if it's for a couple hours. Mo's been saying, we will feed you.
Yes.
So we are
breakfast, lunch, and dinner, actually.
Yeah. So if you can come for a couple hours and, we could help feed you for that, and your whole family, because it's not just women, it's men, children. But we do not ask that children be left by themselves, of course, always with an adult. But it's going to be a great weekend, and I think we're just going to continue to grow this ministry.
Yeah. And getting to come to the reveal on that Sunday, and just get to see those families' faces, it's amazing.
Right.
Like I can't even tell you. You have to see it for yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's so great, especially like you said, the whole family. Bring the whole family.
Right. We need to learn. We need to teach our kids how to serve.
Example.
We have to. There's nothing better than like on Saturday. I had the whole family on Saturday with us, and we were just moving things, and they loved the shop. Yeah. Of course, Avalyn loves it more than Jude.
She's like, I want to run register.
Yeah. She did. She wanted to run register. I'm like, but anyways, no, that's how they learn, and this is great. Just great learning just to serve.
Yeah.
So what is something about you that many people may not know about you?
I would say my family knows this,
Right.
but I'm a little honest.
Right, okay.
I'm brutally honest sometimes. I feel like that's something, but I try, but you learn. You learn to do it in love, right? I feel like that's just like one thing people don't know about me.
Right.
But again, those hobbies, I kind of don't really like always post like my renovation stuff. Yes. But I do that a lot. So I guess that's kind of something.
That's so good. Yeah.
I don't know.
That is too your mom too, like, right? You get that from your mama.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
As we close this interview, tell us about some events that are happening at Unforsaken.
Okay, so talking about purity.
Yeah.
I mean, we've kind of talked about that a little bit. We are doing a beautifully made breakfast, and we're centering around purity.
Right.
So we want these girls to, and it's for mothers to bring their daughters. Yeah. We want them to hear about this stuff because we don't want the school to talk to them about things and have their...
Yes.
You know, their, what is the word? I can't even think of it. Their agenda, right? To talk to them about this. We want to talk to them about that kind of stuff. And I would say ages like 8 to 18 will get something out of this.
Yes.
And if you're a woman, you just want to come and your daughter can't come. Yeah. You can get a ticket for yourself. You can get one for your daughter, whatever it is.
Or if you're not even a mom. Yeah. You know, if you want to come because... Like we were just saying, you're going to be appalled to somebody.
Exactly. So I encourage you to come to that. That's in September. And sign up for that on our website. It's going to be beautiful. We have some great speakers, and we're going to talk about dressing modestly, but still feeling beautiful. You know, we don't have to wear long jean skirts to look pretty.
Exactly.
But to feel or be modest.
Right.
That kind of stuff. And we're just going to explain that. The Restore Hope is huge. What other events do we have?
We're going to have Unforsaken in September. So we're not having one this month.
Yes.
Because we've got so much in September.
Yeah.
But I think it's September 27th will be our Unforsaken. And that's always a great time.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
So
we're excited. Yeah. September's big. We got that. We got Restore Hope at the end of the month and going into October.
It's a big event. It's a big event. So I've so enjoyed this interview. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for coming on here and sharing your heart. As we close, I want to make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our Unforsaken Sisters podcast. Until next time, God bless you, and thank you for joining us for this podcast. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on our Unforsaken Women YouTube channel. For any future videos, please like and subscribe below.